All right, so let's get started. Um, so the first thing I'm going to start with, that I was going to start to point out is the start button. It is a bit different than Windows 10. Windows 10, you had over here on the side all the programs,
Yeah,
and then off to the right, you had your pinned applications.
right.
Well, now everything is in one window
Sure.
and they're rounding. They're rounded and they're square. So, oh, that one is rounded. So they're rounded now. So in here, you have access to everything. You can search for your programs. If you click in search and I search for PowerPoint, PowerPoint's going to come up. Anything with power is going to come up right in
Yeah.
here. And I can open just like before. And then you can actually do, I'm not quite sure if this was in 10, it probably was. You can search for power in people, folders, photos, web, documents. So you
Yeah.
can list what you want to do.
It's all there
Uh,
in 10 as well, but they put the
exactly.
search bar on top.
Yes, on top. But you also have it down here. They haven't gotten rid of that. And if you
Oh,
notice, it is
right.
rounded. Is not
Yep.
squared.
Yep.
So I am just going to head back to my document. Um, when you click on this, I honestly cannot tell you how you get back to the normal start screen without clicking on the start button
Oh, weird.
again. You
Once you
there's
start,
no yeah, there's no back button. So I'm just going to click and click here again. All apps. Do you want to see all the applications on your computer? You're going to click on this all apps button right here.
right.
This is going to give you all the applications, but you have this little back button right here that takes you back to this main start screen. But when you click right up in here in the
Yeah.
search, it takes you to a completely different window that you can't get back to.
That's
But
weird that they would do that.
right. So just
And there,
clicking on that start button will take you back.
can you click on the start button again and just let me, I just wanted to
Yeah.
see what
So if I click on this is the
that
start
is it.
button.
Okay, that is it. So no settings, no, the icon's of settings, but it's because you pinned it.
Well, that comes automatically pinned.
Oh, okay, that's good, I
And then
guess.
I pinned these other things in creating my
Yeah.
training documents. But if you click right up here, it takes you to this screen that you can search, but there's no way to get back. So the only way to
Weird.
get back is to click on start
Yeah.
and then click on start again. And that brings you here. For the all apps, you can click here. You can list, you can click on this little pound symbol and it'll bring up an ABC. So any program
Right.
that you have that starts with K, if you click on
Yeah.
K, it's the same thing as scrolling down to the list. And then I'm going to just click right back here. I'm going to go back again. So you can pin any documents that you want right in here.
Sure.
So devices will the more you use the more that so apps and stuff that you use continually, which is
Yeah.
funny because I use Outlook, I use Teams, Word, and Excel a lot, but they still haven't shown up here.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because I have them pinned here and that's the reason why they don't show up, but I'm not quite sure what this is
Right.
for.
Well, in the other
But
one, we had school essentials, and
right,
I don't know if those were pinned or just they were just there, but I don't know.
those were
Never use it.
just there,
Yeah.
and sometimes they just weren't the right programs. They wouldn't work
Right.
correctly. So right down here, where before when we would click on start, we had this little tiny sliver of a toolbar over
Yep.
here that had the power button. It had settings, it
Mhm.
had the profile. Well, now all of that is under your profile right here.
I
So
see.
if I click this button, I get the change account settings, lock, sign out, and switch user. Of course, as you see, the power button is right over here. And if I click on power, we get the same thing. Sign in
Mhm.
options, hibernate, shut down, and start. So this, in a nutshell, is your start menu.
Right.
And then for the next piece is basically the taskbar, which is right down here. So you still have the search, and when you click on the search, it comes up with that same window that you have in here when you click here.
Right.
This window gives you
That's
the
interesting.
same window as if I was clicking down here.
Right.
Same exact thing. So you actually don't need to go to start to search. You can just click
Sure.
here on this search.
I see. So they're two different things, really. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I never noticed that.
Yeah.
Huh.
I don't, I've been on Windows 11 now for about 2 months.
Yeah.
So remembering back to Windows 10, I don't remember if
10 does the
you
same thing,
have, yeah,
but you don't
Windows
have
10.
search. I mean, if you click the start menu, you're automatically in the search. But if you click the search actual field, it pulls
You
up a
don't
different
get that
view.
search bar. No,
Then you have the recents.
right.
Interesting.
So this search bar down here
Yeah.
takes the place of this search.
Yeah. You can just go right. Interesting how they
And
did
you
that.
have this search up here because it allows you to search. Whereas if you click in this guy, it's not going to give you that search bar up at the top because you're using this bar right down here.
Right.
So
Interesting they do that.
it's user preference, user
Yep.
preference. And then we have our taskbar right down here. The is that right here. I'm displaying my second screen, which is not my main screen.
Yeah.
And I have the date and time right down here. Now in Windows 10, on any monitor you're on, you can click on the date and time and it'll pop up the calendar and the notifications.
But you
In
can't show the
Windows
time.
11,
I mean, the date. You
you
can.
have to be on your main screen in order to see the notification bar because it does not work on any other screen other than your default screen. So
Right.
I'm going to stop share and then I'm going to share the main screen, which is screen 1. And here's my date and time. And also in Windows 10, any icons that you have displayed will also show on every screen. But in Windows 11, you don't get these. But here's my notification. I'm going to click on this guy. And so here is basically the same thing. You have your calendar. Am I displaying the right screen? Do you
Um,
see?
I see your
Oh yeah,
calendar,
there it is. There it is.
and it looks
So
like notifications.
yeah, here's my calendar and here's my notifications. Now, another thing that is not that I kind of don't like about Windows 11 is that in Windows 10, you have the ability to show a quick access
Right.
settings bar down here with all the different settings for you, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, everything. That is now gone. I have researched on how to put that back, and no one actually, or no articles actually say you
Yeah.
can't do that. So I
And
am suspecting that you cannot add those back in. The one thing I like is that you can set the focus that you will not get alerts or anything for 30, 45 minutes, an hour. And you just set it to focus, and now it counts down and you won't get any disturbing or any, you will not be disturbed with any notifications. And so I am going to stop that. I'll pause it.
Well, I like that the taskbar shows the date on there. I'm
Yes.
constantly confused about what day it is, and I don't want to have to click. I want to just see it.
Yes. Yes.
And I
So,
can't find a setting for that in Windows 10.
oh, interesting. Interesting. I don't remember if mine did or not, but yes, the date and time do show. So you have all of this information. I do like this. I don't like the fact that I cannot open the calendar on any other monitor other than my main monitor.
Yeah. Well, you can open the calendar on, you mean for Windows 11?
Windows 11.
Oh,
So I am displaying my
yeah,
main
yeah.
monitor. This is monitor number 1. So if I click here, I'm going to
Right.
get the notification calendar.
You get the full thing. Yeah.
Yes, I am going to now display
I must
my,
have looked away when you did this the first time.
gotcha. I'm going to display my second monitor. This is screen number 2. So this is not the main screen. And right down here, I do have the date and time. It does show me.
Yeah.
But if I click on this, nothing happens. It's not interactive.
What if that's
I
just a
can't.
bug?
It could be, but I don't know. I've researched it, but nobody is actually coming out and saying why
All
this
right.
is happening. So,
I bet they'll
but
fix that.
I hope so. I hope so. But to modify anything on the taskbar, you're just going to bring your cursor to the taskbar, right
Yeah.
click, and you have Task Manager, and you have Taskbar Settings. So if I click on Taskbar Settings, it's going to bring this guy up. And this allows you to hide the search bar. That's this guy right here. So I can hide that. That's going to go away. I like my search bar,
Sure.
but maybe I don't want that big old window. So I can do an icon only, this little guy. When I
Right.
click here, it's going to bring up the same window as if I go into start and
Yeah.
click on search. This thing will do the exact same thing, and it will leave that search bar up at the top.
Right.
You can do icon and label, same thing. Again, it's just a button this time. I like the big box. I like the big box, so I keep the big box. The taskbar view is on. I could turn that off, and that takes away the task view. This little guy right here. What this does is it shows, it's a little far behind. There we go. It shows you your desktops
Oh,
and what you have open on each screen. Are
right.
you able to see what I'm seeing?
I do see the bottom. Yeah.
Okay. So the taskbar view shows you what screens you have on each monitor if you have multiple monitors. I like that. And so this is where you would go to basically modify anything for the taskbar. Now, this took me quite a while to figure out. So right now we have 4 items here. Unless you click on that arrow, you're not going to see what's under that item. You
Yeah.
know, when I tell you this, it's like, oh, duh, you just click on that.
Right.
Honestly, I didn't see that for a while. I'm like, what do you mean taskbar items? There's nothing there. I
Sure.
was like, okay, well, let me try clicking on one of these. And then it dropped down. But you have to be able to see that, recognize that it's a down arrow to be able to expand that.
Right.
And so the hidden icons are the programs that will show up by the date and time. So however many you want by the date and time, you can
Oh,
turn on.
yeah. I never mess with that, and I don't need. I don't. Most of the time, those are useless to me.
Right,
Yeah,
right,
I got a lot of them shown over there.
right.
I didn't even
So
think about
in
that.
Windows 11, you can turn them off.
Just turn them off. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And then the behaviors, of course. Now, this is where you're going to go because you should get your Windows 11 with your taskbar icons over to the left, which is what we have grown up with for the last
Sure.
several years,
Of
right?
course.
But right in here, you can change this taskbar alignment to the center if
Hmm.
you want it in the center. I like it in the left. I have it in the center at home only because I've just never changed it.
Yeah.
Um, but all the taskbar settings are right in here. And so here is when using multiple displays on my taskbar apps on, show my taskbar apps on. I have all taskbars. That's why you see all these programs right down here, is because all of these programs are showing on all three of my screens.
Sure.
You can do just the main screen, or you can have it pop up when a window is open.
Hmm.
So in other words, I can do that and I can
Yeah.
close this, and now this goes away because I'm in Zoom, but that's the only thing that shows. But if I open, let's say I open settings,
Yeah. Then it
now
shows.
it's going to show me
Interesting.
settings. I like having all of my um,
Well, those are all
icons
quick links.
displayed at once.
Sure. That's how we get
Um,
to all our apps. So I leave mine there too.
right, right. And so I'm just going to put this all taskbars. And so now those will populate
Hmm.
in. There they come, right there. So everything I've pinned to the taskbar will show up on all three monitors, or
Nice.
however many monitors
Sure.
that you have. So these are the taskbar settings. I'm only going over a couple of them because there's not everybody will use everything. My next thing to talk about is one, we talked about the notification center taskbar. Oh, I want to talk about File Explorer.
This would be the
So,
one we'd like the most updates to.
yes,
I
agreed.
don't like it, never have liked it. I have alternate programs, but in the end, I just end up using this one. And
Right. I think it's turned out it's not a big difference from what we used to have in Windows 10. Oh, come on. I'm trying to get it over there so you can see it. There we go. Almost there.
it's
There we
a
go.
little slow.
It's a little slow. So almost the same. It's like it's been condensed
It's
a little
cleaner.
bit.
Yeah.
It is cleaner. So you have your not navigation buttons right up here, your back, your forward, your move up one,
Yep.
your refresh. And right now I'm on home. So anything dealing with these guys would affect whatever location I am in. Again, here's your navigation bar or your home, or your address bar, so to speak, your
It's,
search,
it's about time
work.
that Tabs was a, you know,
Yes,
a
I
first
love
class
that.
citizen up here.
Yep. Being able, I always right click and do File Explorer, which would open a new file explorer for me. But in a, come on now, you can do it. I have faith in you. My poor little computer is just humming like crazy. So here, this is opened in a new window compared to being in the two windows. But just like a browser, I can pull that out and it'll open up in a new window. It works just like a browser window, which
Yeah.
is very cool. I
Well, that is
really
good
like
because
it.
sometimes you do need them separated,
Correct.
but
Correct.
a lot of times the tabs are the way to go. Okay.
Yes. I'm going to leave this as is. So what they've added here is this home area. So this home area kind of tries to figure out what you've worked on the most in the last, I guess, couple of days, couple of weeks, and it will put them here. So that's the new addition to the home, to the File Explorer, is they have this home area. They have it also for gallery. This will also be where your OneDrive is located.
Mhm.
And then below that, it has started. The one thing that I have noticed that I need to figure out how to stop it is each time I open a folder, it will automatically put it over here. But if you notice, there's not a pin next to
Right.
it. So these pinned icon means that these items are pinned here. This is the quick
Right.
access area. But when you open folders, um, when you open them a lot, it's going to show up right over here. And I need to figure out how to not do that, because that I have been ignoring them, but they may cause frustrations
Sure.
for a
Now
couple.
it's growing and you have to scroll.
Right, right. So I'm going to pull that right over here. And then, of course, in this lower area, we have all local and mapped network drives. So we have this PC, local disk, your any network mapped drive that you have right over here. And then, of course, just like Windows 10, we have our folder and file display right in here. We have a details section right over here. I believe in Windows 10, the details section came up below. But I think you could also put it on the side. I don't regularly use the details section, but you
Yeah.
can turn it off and on just by clicking on the details guy right there.
Right.
So this is File Explorer again. However you navigate on this, and it will just pop up right up in here. If you have the details open, you'll get how many items are in there, and you can just move that way through these different things. So yes, the next thing I want to talk about is how to arrange windows. Now, I will say I like this. I use this a lot. So here I have a file explorer behind this open window, this active window, and I want to see them side by side. One thing I can do is hover over the maximize
Neat. Yeah.
button, and it's going to give me a quadrant of several different ways that I can view this. So I could do side by side, which is the first one. I could do right this take up one half and then have two other windows available. I could do four windows. I could do double. I could do more of a main window and a side. I could do three. So they have given you different options in which to view this window, which I thought was pretty cool.
That is cool.
So to be able to view them. So I can click here and now I'm seeing them side by side.
Neat.
Now, another thing that you can do if you don't want to use that way is if you grab a window, if I put my cursor right here in the title bar, left click and hold, and am able to move it around. As soon as I left click and hold, if you look at the top of the screen, you should see that black bar that came up. Let me release. Black bar goes away. Let me press and hold, move slightly, and that black bar comes up. Did you see that up at
No, I
the
don't see a
top?
black bar at all.
Okay. So if I move this window up to the top, I'm going to get a drop down that has the exact same thing.
Okay.
Only now I can move through here and see what it's going to look like.
Sure.
I kind of like that because there's a lot of time that I do side by side. And then once I select a way, the way I want to view that, how I want them grouped, I then get presented with which window do you want on the other half.
Yeah, I like that.
And so I can select any one of these. So I can select this guy, and now I'm viewing this on the side by side. Of course, I can grab this, come up here and say, I want to do it this way. So I'm going to do that. And so now I have this first section. Which window do you want here? And if you notice, this one's grayed out. So if I select the gallery file explorer, I now get to come down here and figure out which window I want to display next. I can
Neat.
click on that.
Yeah.
Very easy, very quick. There's no more of this grabbing the side and trying to measure it the right way.
Oh, we could do
The other
side
thing
by side in the
go
old
ahead.
one. No?
You would grab a window, and you can still do this, I believe, and you go over to the side, and then it'll automatically pop out.
Oh,
You
there we
let go,
go. Yeah. You have to
and
drag
then
it to
that
the
one's open.
side. Okay.
Yes, you drag it to the side until you can't go any further, and you'll see
Yeah.
that pop out come out on the side.
Interesting.
But now you don't really need to do anything but hover,
Well, I like
select.
you have more options now. That three panel
Yes,
view is pretty cool.
yes, it
Um,
is.
so no, I definitely, yeah.
It's very cool. That's as far as I've gotten. So, oh, and settings. Let me go into settings really quick. So I'm going to close all these open windows. And I did not pin settings down here at all. But if you go to the start menu, you should have settings automatically selected here. So I'm going to click on settings. That's going to open up the settings window. And now I have all of these settings in which to work with. And I can go through these things. I do like that. I don't like that they removed this from the notification center because I use these all the time.
Why are these square windows? Or is it, oh no, you have a full screen. That's all.
I have it full screen.
Yeah.
Yes. I do like that you get these windows up at the top. So I do have a Samsung speaker connected for my audio.
Yeah.
I have Beats wireless headphone that I use when I go to San Leo. And I have a Naga Pro at San Leo also that's not connected. And there's this great big button that says add device. So they've made it kind of easier and almost like a gaming system, like
Sure.
PlayStation or Xbox,
Right. It does
where
look
you
nicer.
have these big windows. System actually the same, and they put everything just right there for you. The one thing I like about these settings is it tells me when Windows was last updated or the last check for Windows update. So, if you call tech support and they say, do you know when Windows last updated? You just come to settings and you look.
Yeah,
It looks like it checked 7 hours ago.
right.
And so I like the settings. I think they are easier. They've also built in a find a setting. So if I need to, let's say I need to personalize my mouse, I can just type in mouse and it's going to drop down anything related to mouse. So if I wanted to go into mouse settings, I can just click here, and the speed, I can speed that up so my mouse speed is faster or however I want. So using the search feature to find the setting that you need is a really cool feature. And that's all I have so far. Any questions?
Nope, I appreciate the walkthrough. That was really good.